Welcome to Techspex. Your search for machine tools begins here, so let's get started with today's expert tip. I'm Nick Bloom, president of Techspex, and I'll be your guide. Today I'd like to show you how quick and easy it is to search and find the machine tools that can handle your job using the model search feature. Let's say you have an application for a lathe, but you don't know which machine tool builder makes what you need. No problem. The quickest way to find the machine you need is to first find our turning center model search form. Since I'm looking for turning center models, I click on Model Search. I see turning and select it from the menu. The turning machine search form includes 11 different search criteria. Some are size and capacity based, while others are more stylistic. The default setting for search models includes all manufacturers' models, but you can search on 1, 2, or 3 or more manufacturers by selecting the brands you want. Click Reset to return the default settings, including all manufacturers. So let's get started constructing a query. Say, for instance, I have a job to machine valve bodies. Since this particular family of valve bodies runs from 15 to 25 inches in diameter, I'll set the minimum acceptable chuck diameter of 15 inch and maximum of 35. This means I'm excluding all models with chucks under 15 inches and over 35 inches. Since bar diameter is not a consideration, I just skip this attribute. Because these valve bodies are stainless, I know I'll need at least 25 horsepower for the small to medium sized parts, but probably more if I want to run larger parts optimally. So I want to find all machines with at least 30 horsepower without specifying a limit on the horsepower at the high end. A refining search can eliminate excess models later. The length of the largest valve body is 20 inches. So I'm going to enter 18 inches for turning length as the minimum turning length I need, and leave the max length field open. I always want to leave margin when constructing a query in order to not overlook suitable machines at the edges of my limits. Although I know this machine is basically a chucker, it's not necessary for me to uncheck these preset machine type values because other parameters I've selected will automatically eliminate any machine types that don't meet my needs. And remember, it's always better to include models you don't need than to exclude them by over-defining a query. In my experience, valve bodies are best machined on vertical lathes, so I select vertical spindle direction. This serves to eliminate horizontal spindle lathes that might also have the specs I've already indicated in the form. I suppose we could limit the search to single spindles only, but I'm curious to learn if there are twin spindle vertical lathes that might be able to do this work. If the volume is large enough, a twin spindle might be appropriate. Finally, we'll need secondary milling and drilling to handle the ports, so I check yes for mill drill function. Now we're ready to find the models that fall within the parameters I've set, so I click Search. We find 56 matching models by 22 machine tool builders. The models at the top of the page, highlighted in blue, are models of our sponsors, so you can expect most of these will not only include the detailed specs, as all models in the database do, but pictures and technical notes too, and some even have articles and videos linked to them as well. Notice the columns at the top of the results list, such as horsepower, number of axes, and number of spindles. If I click on the labels, I can resort the entire list on that value. If I click horsepower, models are resorted from the least to the most, and most to the least. If I click on the spindles label, I can isolate the twin spindles from the single spindles. Clicking on manufacturer label sorts the list by brand. If you want to compare specs of several models, just click on the checkbox to the left of the models you want to compare. Then click the Compare Models icon. You can also generate a request for quote by checking the checkboxes of models you want a price on. If, for instance, we want quotes on the models that we've already checked, all I have to do is click the Get Price button. Fill out the form, and within less than 30 seconds, you can generate requests for quotes for one or more models and send them off to local distributors or builders for fulfillment of the quote request. If you want to share the list of models that your query generated, just click the Save Search icon and copy the URL onto your clipboard. Then paste it into an email and send it to an associate, or paste the URL of the saved search into a new browser and bookmark it for your own reference. If you want to refine your search, click the new search icon. The initial search parameters are retained in the model search form. Fine-tune the query by changing, removing, or adding parameters. For instance, I might add 1500 RPM as a minimum requirement so that the new search filters out all models whose top RPM is less than 1500. When I search, the total number of models is now reduced to only 31 models by 15 builders. Now I might want to view details of a few models, so I click on the model name. I find relevant articles on the company and model in the More Information section here. Notice the icons to the left of the More Information section. The RFQ link lets me request a quote. Get Info sends a request for information to the manufacturer. The email link makes it easy to send a friend or associate a link to this page. And Export downloads a PDF of this page to my desktop. The PDF can be saved to your local drive for reference, or it can be emailed to a friend. So that's our Techspex expert tip today. Start browsing Techspex on your own to become your company's go-to guy or gal when they need to research your next machine tool purchase. And don't forget to check out our blog for machine tool insights and everyday observations. And please click the Follow Techspex link in the top right of any page in the site to follow us on Twitter.